Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So this is about a week later since the last episode where we dove into cleaning these bad boys up. They're nice and free now. I can actually push it all the way in if I could get it to work with one hand. See, it goes out in nice and easy. Got all the blockages. I might shoot it one more time with some WD just to make sure it's nice and slick. Or actually, I got some silicone oil we might try with that. But anyway, we got the CRF 230 2016. I'm gonna take apart the head stem today. I finally got some sockets. Ended up getting a 30, which is what I believe fits it when I measured it. I didn't have a 30 millimeter, so I got one. And then I ended up also getting a 24 because historically I use an inch version of a 24, and it'll be nice to actually have the correct size. Grips, again, we took those apart. This is how the throttle assembly kind of cleaned up. Nice. They've been soaking in WD for a couple different runs. I'll actually clean them up nice and pretty with the Scotch-Brite today. The Scotch-Brite that I'm using is actual Scotch-Brite. This is the container I got. It's 30 sheets and it pulls off, if I can do this one-handed. Let's see if I can set you guys down. All right, so it pulls off and then you can pull it apart into strips, and then I just rip it in half, or you can cut it with some cheap Harbor Freight shears. These things are really nice. Underrated, seriously underrated, but you can cut them. I like to cut them into smaller pieces. That way I don't feel like I'm wasting it in case they get greasy or saturated with, I don't know, oil or something. So I just cut a bunch of pieces, and that'll last me, honestly, unless I'm doing a crap load of cleaning, that'll last me like 6 months. But I got this off Amazon. Comes with 30 of those sheets. And yeah, that's what I use. Super cheap. I can't remember the price, but I know it was off Amazon. And it wasn't that expensive, or I wouldn't own it. I like nice things, but sometimes it requires a certain budget. So we're gonna do that today. I think, honestly, I might end up taking the seat off and the tank back off, even though I already had it, and actually check the valves and make sure that those are in spec. Ended up talking to a friend of mine who just picked up a 230 motor to swap into a three-wheeler. And I was talking about doing the valves on it. It'd be a good idea. Now his bike is, the one he got, I think is off an 05 or a 07 instead of a 16, but it probably wouldn't be the worst of things to do. Didn't get my sprockets in. My man Dave is running a little behind on the shipment. It's probably not him, it's probably whoever he bought it from. And then, oh, that reminds me, I need to make my Rocky Mountain order. I won some more money off Supercross at Glendale this weekend, off the Rocky Mountain Fantasy Club. I'm up quite a few bucks, 36 bucks or something. So I got an order. It has the screws for that. It has, hi Sky, she's checking stuff out. I got new nuts for the chain adjusters. I kind of rounded those by using the wrong freaking wrench one too many times. Use the open end, and for some reason the material on these just is soft. So I got new ones of those. I got new seat nuts because, as you see, mine decided to strip out and spin on me because this design is terrible. But so I got new ones of those. I got 2 nuts and 2 bolts for that. And then what else did I get? I got those 2. And then, oh, I got some skid plate foam. We're gonna try doing the skid plate foam trick on the race bike, on the Triumph. Stuff that stuff in to keep mud from building up in here. We're gonna stuff that thing full and then see what we can do with that. bring you guys along. I'll fill this gap just to kind of keep mud and debris from stacking up in here and see what we think of it. I might try throwing some behind the radiators. I'm not sure. I've seen a lot of people just put like a screen over the front instead, and it helps it bounce off. And with the way this thing's designed, I could probably do that really easy. So I don't know, we'll try. We'll see what we got on that. We'll be playing around doing that with the new order. I also got some pull straps. I need one for the front of the Triumph, absolutely. And then I'm not sure if it'll fit on the rear. I do know the fender is very strong, but we'll see about that. That'll be a video in a couple days. But we'll be finishing up part 4 of the CRF 230 build, maintenance, whatever you want to call it. And then once it warms up and it's not snowy anymore, we'll actually do a deep wash of this thing because it's getting filthy. Actually, what I should do, I should order a new gasket for this. So if you split this cover, behind, I believe it's right here, there's a centrifugal oil filter that just slings debris to the outside walls. And the only way to clean it is to take this apart and manually clean out the edges. I'll have to see. See what all that'll entail with my service manual. That was the word I was looking for. I should take this pipe off and clean it, but I don't know. Doesn't sound fun today. I should take this thing completely off, buff it out, and then paint it some exhaust paint, make it look real pretty. Because one thing to note on these CRFs is you should not run a 120 wide rear tire. Why, you may ask? Because when you go down on the suspension, you will rub on the outside edges. So you got to make sure to run. I think this is a 110. No, this is I went back to the 100 instead of the 120 I might have had on it. I don't know. I will say it added a lot more pep in its step, not trying to pull that big tire. And this is still loose because I don't have the chain on it, or it's adjusted because I'm waiting on that. So maybe we'll do that. We'll take this kickstand apart today as well and kind of grease everything behind this pivot bolt. Make sure that that's all doing okay. Nothing's really messed up or anything. Sounds like a good thing to do. So yeah, I'm going to get some of the proper tools out and we'll start tearing this thing apart again. So, alright, first things up, I'm going to clean this up. I sprayed WD on my Scotch-Brite, and then I'm going to use that to kind of deteriorate the remaining rubber and glue that's on this grip. Clean it up, get all of the crap off of it. Looks like that's not doing the best on some of the stuck-on parts, so take a knife. And this is already a dull blade, so I'm not too worried about destroying it. I need to replace this one. There we go. There we go. Now before we glue this, I'll spray the crap out of it with some alcohol, which looks like I'm about out of alcohol again. So that's just great. Okay, that guy's cleaned up. Pull that down. I think I'm going to shoot some silicone in there. I'll have that apart. Those are all cleaned out. I did shoot some more WD in there. So that's all done. I guess the next step we'll do is take those off. Oh no! Now these were not tight. These were just there to hold the bars up while I was messing with the grip areas. So those are supposed to be much tighter than what it just looked. Probably can't see worth the crap, but I'm just taking the bolts off of the handlebar clamps. Nothing fancy. Kind of happy the weather warmed up a little bit. Doesn't take quite as much to heat the garage up. So that's nice. Let's see. So, yay, my 30 fits perfect. So if I twist this, is this gonna spin on me? I don't remember if that'll spin or not. Oh, there we go, dropping stuff. It was the nut and socket that was on this, not the torque wrench itself. Good Lord. Actually got some torque to it. Now when I tighten those back up, I'll want to put the forks in first. That way it doesn't spin or twist on me. There we go. Then this should just pop off. Then we need, hopefully this will do it. This is a KTM tool they've had for a few years. Oh wow, that is loose. Okay. Pretty sure that's supposed to be tighter than that, but oh, I'm gonna reposition this before I drop stuff. Okay, so if I undo this, what's gonna drop? The fender's gonna drop. Oh Lord. We might need new bearings. That's not good. Okay, so we want to pull that out first. What's holding this together? Sorry if this is view, I'm dropping shit. So let's see. Oh, nice. Nice. Those are probably completely destroyed. Oh, Lord. Alright, so I'm going to clean these up so that we can have a better view of these. So these are not good. Not good at all. These have not been ever greased, apparently. And have a lot of mud in them. I'm just hoping that they'll clean up okay. So with that much mud, I will definitely be flushing these. Actually, they might clean up okay. So how I'm gonna flush those is, since I don't have much WD and there's a lot of grease in there, a lot of times I would open up I have a parts cleaning station, but for minimal amounts of cleaning, I don't like going through the effort of putting it all together. So I'm just going to use a bunch of rags that are crappy and WD. You'd be surprised how clean you can get this stuff with just WD, honestly. So we'll clean the inside. And then we're gonna try and wedge our fingers in so that we can hold the interior race while we go around the outside, and just try and wipe the dirt off as we rotate it. So you can see it rotate and it brings up dirt. So you just do that and then wipe it off. And it's time consuming, yes, but it does work. And then more WD. And you use that right there. That's how you open the race up. So I'll take it, spin it, get that dirt to come out on the rollers, and then wipe it off. And I'm just gonna repeat that process until I stop getting dirt out. And I'm gonna do that to both the bottom and the top to see if we have any binding inside or if it's smooth. Honestly, the way this is, I don't see any corrosion. I think this might actually do okay for what I need it to do. It's not perfect by no sense of imagination, but if I clean this out, pack it full of good grease instead of the crap grease that comes from the factory, that good waterproof will keep a lot of that out. And it should be good, honestly. It looks like as long as the bottom cleans up good like this. Now there's more to do, there's still grit in there. But if I can get the bottom to also clean up that well, now there might be some corrosion to that. Probably could use a new seal, top and bottom. But I think I'm just gonna pack it full of grease and put it back together and let it run for another couple of years, and I'll have to write down in my notes that next time you go to change it, it'll need new bearings. Still doing better than my Kawasaki. It only lasted 46 hours and the freaking head bearings are completely notchy. So, what brand are these? These are Japanese. NTN? What brand is NTN? I don't know if I've heard of that before. I know a lot of the pumpkin brands run SKFs or Nook, something like that. Those are decent bearings. Or no, those are seals, not bearings. But anyway, I'm gonna keep cleaning these until I get them nice and pretty, and then we'll go to packing them. All right, this time I think I'm gonna use some gloves. I don't like gloves, but I'm really sick and tired of, or I don't have much, I shouldn't say, I don't have enough alcohol to clean my hands enough. So I'm gonna try and get her done with this because I don't want to go to the store and get alcohol. Rubbing alcohol, I guess. So we'll throw some of these on. Really like the nitrile, especially if you can get the ones with like, what do you call it, baby powder inside. They go on way better. Otherwise, like sweaty hands in the summer, it doesn't work very well. So we're just gonna get us a big old glob going here. Then you take the open side, pull like the bearing down, like you can see how it kind of, you can tighten or loosen up the area, but you kind of just shove it in there. And you just keep shoving until that bad boy is nice and lubricated. Then you shove it in the bottom, shove it in the top, shove the grease in any way you can, spin it to make it get the grease in better, open up pores, and just keep shoving till she's nice and packed. And this is that waterproof by Maxima. You can use, I've used Red Sticky, it works just fine. I just like this stuff because it comes in a tub, and I got mud still coming out of this. So you can wipe the mud off there. I probably should keep cleaning this thing, but I've had enough of it. So we're just gonna pack the crap out of this with grease and let her eat. Another year or two, I'll just replace everything in the head stem. Probably, I don't know, next year or the year after. Whenever I get a burr up my butt to go back through this. you can usually get away with 2-3 years out of each time you do this. So 2 years and then grease it, and then 2 years and then just replace everything. It's usually what I do, depending on how much riding you do. This bike might be able to get more than just that, but so that's nice and lubed up. All the voids are filled. Rotate it. Yeah, maybe get a little more in there. Top. So I like that one. And then we'll just drop this in the race on top. I will do a pre-lube of just run grease around the race first. I'm not going to move the camera yet because my hands are covered in grease. So you're not going to get to see that. Let's see. Alright, now we're going to move on to this one. Now these, I do like to grease this stem as well. Right in here, this is where the bearing's going to ride. And then right here is where the triple clamp is going to slide on. So I'm just going to lube a little bit up here, and then I'll probably wipe off excess with a rag. And then I'm just going to do a gentle, thin layer the whole route. And then we're going to get this, and these are a little bit harder because you can only grease it from the top. So you just kind of take that and just push down into it. And it sucks. It's a mess. It just sucks. There's no good way to do this. But you just shove it in, put it on the roller, spin the thing, push more in from the top. It's a messy endeavor, but it is what it is. It doesn't feel packed. And you'll feel it stop spinning real fast and just get like thick is the best way I can explain it. And that's when you know it's nice and packed. Now I'm going to take this grease and go wipe on the bottom bearing race. And now that that's all done, try and get these off without too much of getting it all over myself. So now put that on, wipe the can off, that away. Now I don't want to use any rags that have WD or alcohol on it because I want to keep the grease and I don't want it to break down. I just want to get this excess off. I threw that rag away and I want to try and get the grease off the threads. Just because otherwise it'll, I don't know, I guess in my theory, I don't know if this is real or not, but in my ideology behind that is it could change the torque value and torque specs as you put it on because you don't have as much friction on the threads inside. Whether that's real or not, I don't know. Just something that makes me feel better at night, so that's pretty good. So now I do have a light coat of oil inside, just WD, and that's to help stop that corrosion that's happening. Now once this goes back together, I'm going to clean out those threads with my thread cleaner or thread chaser. But for now, we'll just take this guy over here. make sure I don't accidentally do something stupid with the cables. Let's go. Goes like that. Shit. Now my nice bearing that was on top fell and got covered in fucking dirt. I'm just gonna wipe off the best I can, get my dog hairs off. That's not what you want to do, and it pisses me off, but I'm really not gonna go through the process of cleaning it all back out. So I'm just gonna wipe excess off, try and get the hairs off, and then line that up. That goes. That's not how that goes. Next goes your seal with your bushing, and then make sure you do that race down so that this sticks up. Why is it not going? There it goes. So you're supposed to have threads. I didn't have any threads. So make sure that lips down so that holds this that nut over that seal. Wipe the threads off a little, and then we will drop this on. Now I did grease that up just a little bit inside. And then I'm going to put the flat side up and the round side down to try and get a little bit better purchase out of the nut. Okay, that's not too bad. And then I'll try and get these wires back into proper place. And their little stay. That one's in that stay. That all looks okay. Now what I'll do is I'll take all these out. You can see what I'm doing? Yeah. Okay. So I'll take these out. I will coat the inside of there and there with oil. And I want to clean these. And then I'll probably anti-seize these as well. You can do anti-seize or a light coat of grease. I think on this I will prefer the anti-seize since these are, I believe these are all aluminum cast. Looks like it. And these are stainless bolts or zinc coated bolts, one of the two. Probably zinc coated. But I'll do a quick clean of these, clean of that. You guys out of the way. I'm gonna go super slow with this. And then you can look at the thread, see if it's cleaning anything. It doesn't look like it is. Didn't mean to do that. Have it on too high. Drop it down to level 1. And I think I'm also gonna put some grease into those just because those take so much dirt. from being on the underside of the fender. What? No, I might go with antifreeze again with those. So these aren't cleaning much at all. But I do want to clean that off. You can kind of see that corrosion. I'll take my trusty dusty Scotch-Brite. There's nothing on this one. This is just dry. And all I'm doing is getting the dust off. Kind of that dirt. Make sure that there's no crud on them. On my, what they call them, sealing surface or mating surface of a bolt. What's called. You want to get technical. But, so in machining or engineering, if that surface is not perpendicular to your bolt, your thread, you don't get a solid seal on the surface, and it can cause some unnecessary torque into the threads. And so it's just a good idea to make sure that it's flat, machined, and pretty. And then I did do a lot of Scotch-Briting with the inside the tubes of where the clamps of the shock, to try and get any crud out. All I'll use is this dirty rag, a little bit of WD, and I'm just gonna wipe in here to make sure it's, try and prevent it from corroding in the future. Then actually those bolts are so pretty that I'm just gonna put them in, right back in as soon as I put my anti-seize on them. All right, so we got our copper anti-seize on. Get them all started. Then I got the shocks over on the bench so that they can go on immediately. And I have the right socket and driver. Well, alright, so let's see, which side does the brake go on? The brake goes on this side. I can't forget my tugger strap. Oh, those are tight. I forgot how tight those were. So we'll take our screwdriver, just twist a little in there. Help allow it to go up. Come on. Please don't rip my sticker off. Come on. There we go. I want to turn. That's to the side. That. Well, we got that one on. Now we can, let's put the other one on as well. these out a little bit so I have a little more room. Oh no, my strap got stuck underneath on the wires. Stay out there. I love those tugger straps for so many reasons. Okay. Put that on the side. Now, I'm only doing the bottom because the top gets up and down play removal off of tightening that, and this up and down will go up and down as we tighten everything. So I want to set the kind of tension of the handlebars and then switch to the fork height side. So at this point I actually will put the tire on so I can get a good feel of how tight to make those. So I will actually throw the handlebar on and the wheels on. Make sure everything lines up proper and all that fun stuff. That I didn't miss a cable routing or something silly, like what seems to always happen. Please be 12 mil. 8. Okay, there's that. Now I'll use my wrench to loosen this a little bit so that I can rotate it and get it in a semi-close position to what it should be. Retension it, and again, this doesn't have to be tight. This is just to hold the bar in position while I do the rest of my adjustments. And then again, I leave these loose. I will probably bring them at least close since I already have the nut driver out with the right size. But those all get torqued to an exact spec. So there's that. That guy's all pulling right. That is rotated backwards. Nice. Love that. Damn it. Where's my screwdriver? So that's supposed to be rotated over that. Okay. There's that. Now we're gonna back it up. Bring it down a bit. I'm actually going to put the wheel on before I do, so this can go that after that's already on. So I'm actually not going to deal with trying to line up the brake caliper. axle there. Try and keep my bushings from falling out. Oh, come on, stop being a pain in my ass. So I'm trying to line up the opposite side. Oh, maybe. That might be it. Nope. Sort of. There it is. That's not it. It's cross-threading. That is cross-threading. Oh, that might be it. This is pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of annoying. Why is this not working? Alright, so we're going to try and there it goes. I think that's it. Why the fuck is this not going? Alright, excuse me while I get pissed off at this thing. Alright, after a bunch of dicking around with this thing, I finally got it to catch. Ended up having to put the wheel on the ground, or the bike so that the wheel was on the ground, and jiggle it while I was ratcheting it in. And that's how I ended up getting it to align. That was really annoying. Socket on that was 17 millimeter. Now I gotta go find the torque specs for this to at least semi-align the other side before I start messing with the huh, that's weird. You see this? I'm gonna have to twist those or something. But I'm gonna find the torque specs for the nut and for the two, for these locks and that. Get it torqued to spec. The reason I did the wheel before the brake is because the brake can come over here, drop through behind here, lock into there, and then I can just align it up on the rotor. Way easier than trying to align this with the pads while trying to put this on. That's always a pain in the ass, and I hate doing that. So I chose to do it later. And then I do got to remember that this goes up right there. So I will get, let's see, what do I need for that? I need 8 mil, I need the bolts. Okay. Alright, so here are our bolts for the caliper. Get that up out of the way. So we want to open that bottom of that brake up, and then we align it with the rotor, drop it in, take our bolts. And I put grease on those, not Loctite, because I've never had a brake come loose or even come close. But I do brake check or bolt checks on these before I go on big rides or anything like that. Okay, will this come around? Okay, that will. So we're gonna go to 1. We're actually gonna go up to level 2. Do a quick zap, zap, drop back to level 1. See how those go off of just the dirt lines. Get that semi-started. Go back to level 1. Had it a little too low. Now I'll go to level 1 on the impact. Zap, zap. Switch back to our 12. And then we got to put it, our little brake keeper goes right there. Okay, so that's all set up. Do our little rotate of our shock absorbers later. So now I'm going to find the torque specs of everything up here and get that in the book out and checked, and then we will start showing you what I go for the kind of side to side tension. All right, so we're gonna put the fender on real quick. Looks like I got a bent washer. That's cool. They comes with two sizes, a short bolt and a long bolt. Looks like I can't really tell if the long bolt goes in the back or the front. Looks like it would go in the front, just since you have a through bolt option. So that's what we're gonna try and see. I'll probably put both of them in the back and see if there's a bottom out, is what I'll do to check it. Of course it's the wrong size. Thought it was an 8mm, it's a 10. So what I use is I put it on a extension with knurls, and that's what I use to hold the bolt. Oh, that's the front. You're an idiot, Cody. So there's the short one, the back. Actually, look through here. It goes really far. Let's see if we bottom out that guy early. If it goes all the way to the top. So it bottomed out from going all the way. So the long bolts do go up front. That's what I was thinking. I wasn't positive. So I'll switch that to a front. And it comes out right here. I'll show you here in a second. Looks a little ridiculous. Oh, I know why. Those act as posts for the number plate. That's why they chose that length. You can even see it's kind of cut out for that. That makes sense. So I'm just gonna put all these on and then hit them with an impact, my nut driver on level 1. Now those bolts I will check rather often with a 1/4 inch ratchet just to make sure they don't fall out. So if they need more attention later, I will find that out. Okay, now we'll get the torque specs for everything else. Okay, now we found the diagram. We're looking at 9 foot-pounds up front. I don't think my torque wrench goes down to 9, so we're going to go to inch-pounds on that, which will just be 9 times 12. So what is that, 9, 108. And then we'll do 54 foot-pounds on that. Up top, we're looking at 20 foot-pounds. On what were those? Are those? Yeah, that's the 20. 24 on the bottom ones. Okay, so we'll do 24. Then it's doing, oh wow, that was tight. It doesn't give you any spec for that one, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so we'll start out with the bottom. We're going with, I'll probably wait on those. I will do that one. So 54. All right, so we got the 3/8 impact or torque wrench. Some down here. So that was 54. Now I'm not gonna tighten those up until I get everything settled and I can kind of do a knock at it to make sure that it centers itself on the wheel. I'll show you what I mean later. Okay, so these were 24. Those are not 10s. Oh shoot, I'm still way too high. So that goes, that's 20, 24. Now these you want to go back and forth on. So you get to click each side and just get it until there's no movement when it clicks. This side. Okay, now we got those. Now we're actually going to jack this guy up a little. Okay. Now the goal is, what I kind of go for, the way I like the steering to feel. Wow, it didn't want to go right. Okay, sorry for jacking you around. But I want it to be where it's, the handlebars are straight and it doesn't just fall. I want it to be where I gotta tap it over. But right here, it just kind of, if you leave it straight, it falls. And if you have it slight angle, it falls immediately. I want it to, if it's at a slight angle, to hold itself, is how I like it. I feel that it's not as jittery in the corner or like on ruts or whatever. So what I'm doing is getting on that nut, that spanner nut, and just pulling it right now. Looks like we finally got to where it's semi-tight. You can see on this side that I am spinning it. Probably couldn't see it from that side. But if you look at this nut right here, this is what I'm spinning. So I'm taking this hook, grabbing in, and just kind of pulling it. Now, of course, it's not going to pull, but okay. Now what I'm going to do is take a punch. Just a punch and a hammer. What I'm going to do is come right here. Almost. So that's kind of like how I like it, is to where it'll go straight. If I stop it, it'll kind of hold. Now it might be just a touch too tight. And it is kind of notchy if you really feel for it. Hoping that'll work its way out. That's about how I like it right there. So now we will tighten this down. That nut, we'll have to take these off, tighten that down, wipe our grease off to our factory spec, which will set the height of this, and then we'll go back and set our height of the forks themselves. So I will go set this up and we'll pop those off real quick. Well, oh, there's my wrench. It was in my pocket. Put the wrench on the seat this time, so I know where it's at. Thought it said that was like 80 foot-pounds. I'll have to double check that. It seems ridiculous. Nope, I was right. 80 foot-pounds on that nut. Holy cow. That's tight. Alright, there's 80 on the wrench. Okay, now I'm gonna see what the measurement is supposed to be for that lip right there. So I didn't get an exact measurement, but it does look from this picture, you can see, it's basically the cap is perfectly lined up there. So it looks like that needs to tap down just a touch. That needs extension. There. That's where I wanted it. So now I'll retest. So I knocked it back and forth until I got it to where I liked it. Now I'll just retension or retorque these to 24. And then we will check the other side as well. It's quite a bit out, so I'll actually raise the bike up on the stand. If I was smart, I would have remembered to untorque this before hitting it. That would have been smart. Okay. Too much. And we're trying to match the other side. Close. Oh, right there. You can kind of see that I got it very close to how I had it the other side. So now I'll just torque these into position. And then I think the tops were 20 foot-pounds. Yep. So we'll just take this guy down to 20. And then we'll do our tops. That's pretty good. We're just putting the handlebars back on, or clamps back on. And at the final step, I try to make sure they go down even. Rotate them up. Try to position them side to side equally using the little bars. Try to get it in a good neutral spot. And those are also supposed to be 20. So we'll kind of go back and forth, tightening them slowly so that they stay equal. I'm sure these aren't in the right spot, but that's something we can deal with later. Okay, so now we got our forks back together. All we have left is this guy down at the bottom. So tighten this. Now what we do with this is we spin the tire, pump the brakes up until we get a good brake. So we spin it, lock up the brakes. And what that does is center that axle side to side in to where it wants to be. And you want that to be where it wants to be, where it kind of goes natural, so that you don't end up in a bind. So I'll go get the torque spec for those real quick. So those are 9 foot-pounds. I'm going to transfer that over to inch-pounds, so multiply 9 by 12. That gives you 90 for 10, and then 2 more is 108. So we'll go 90. Oh, okay, so it goes in 20s. Okay. So that should be 108. I did nuke torque wrench, sorry. So we'll do this in a cross pattern. I'm just gonna bring 2 of them down and then bring the other ones down. I'm just kind of bringing it close, and then we'll start doing the actual one. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Double check. There we go. That's all done. Wheels spinning nice. Needs to wear the brakes in so that you don't have that sound. Let's see what else we got. Number plate we can put back down. That'll work. See, here's what I meant by the number plate uses those bolts. There's that. Gotta find. Oh, there's the nut for that. At least I was smart and left it in, right? Holy cow, how long is that bolt? Oh, of course I dropped it. Give me a second. Got it. There's that. Let's get. Oh, of course I break it. Damn. Fuck. Well, I'm gonna do what I did to my KX, and I'm just gonna score this right here along that, cut it off. Is what I'm gonna do. Watch the wires when you're doing this so you don't accidentally cut one. I think that honestly looks better anyway. Less stupid as the the little bar pad holder. So that's all I do, is do that. That's what I did in my KX because I broke it almost instantaneously. So let's see what else we got. We got that guy's good. I need to oil him. Need to put the throttle back together. Bar pad back on. All right. So next part, I guess we're gonna rebuild the throttle back. Get some silicone on there. So this is my silicone spray. This stuff is top notch for anything. It's amazing stuff. So we're gonna shoot some. We're about out. I'm just kind of shooting some in the hole. Let it fill up, let it drain in. And then we're gonna do the same with this side. And wipe some on the throttle tube. I already blasted the inside of the throttle tube. And it also dissipates, and when it dissipates, it's like there's no oil left, kind of, sort of. Let's see, how does this go? Doesn't go that way. That. Okay. Oh, I remember. I was smart and took a picture of how this goes. Pro tip, make sure you do that. Because I couldn't tell you how that goes. Alright, so that guy goes like that. Okay. So this one goes in first. Goes in, and then we just twist this one in. It's gonna take forever. How does that go? It goes like that, I think. Yeah. I can't grip it because of the silicone on it, so we're gonna go to a wrench. Put that on. Okay, there's that. see that, but I just put that in the tube through those holes. So I put it in the first one, made sure it was in, because when it rotates around, it goes like that. So then we put so much easier now that it was clean. Okay, what are you not liking? It doesn't feel very good or free, but we're gonna try putting screws in and see if it kind of settles into where it wants to be. I'm gonna try and do. Yeah, it's not, something's not right in there. You can see that, but it kind of has like a, whoa. Kind of has a crack right there that it's not enjoying. It's not settling right. What are you not liking? It's like it doesn't go that way. Definitely how it goes. Oh, I know what it is. I have an idea. I think it got on, I think this cable here got on the back side of that. That's what I think happened. Okay, that's right. I don't know why that's being so grumpy. I really don't. Like, this thing just does not fucking like this. I don't get it. Why are you so angry? I'm gonna try and tighten this thing up and then slide it in, maybe. Like, why are you so angry? Holy cow. What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay, there it's free. but it's still not sealing very good. At least it's turning. Man, I don't like this. That's good. Right there. It's all the way in. Like it feels good, mostly. I'll have to look at how to do that in the book. It still feels a little tight. I mean, it's returning nice. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought. I don't know, it just felt very weird getting that in. It didn't feel nice. So I'm gonna keep looking. Looks like you can oil right there. Huh. Didn't know that. I'm gonna look in the book. I don't like the way that went. Then I'm gonna clean up these, try and get some grips on her. Apparently I'm an idiot. The throttle tube is supposed to be on the bottom. I'm just stupid. No wonder it didn't like me. We have it way turned around. I'm so used to the modern bikes. So like the KX and the Triumph both have the cables on top. I guess I'm just too used to those. So then this needs to come apart. This needs to come back. Okay. This is supposed to be down here like this. That's why nothing was happy. That is why the throttle was not happy. So then that goes like that. To go like that. This guy comes up like this. Like that. Shit. Oh, crap. I needed you to be on the tube or on the handlebar. Fuck. Gosh dang it. Stupid wire came off the fucking cam. God, this is an irritating. Okay, go fucking on, piece of shit. There it goes. I think I am going to shoot some more oil down between the tube and here. Well, actually, I'm going to load up right there. That's what I'm going to do. A little like that. A little bit in there. It's not bad. Okay, sink it in there. That's not too shabby. Finally, it only took me half an hour. Not really, but felt like it took for freaking ever. There we go. I just need to clean up the tubes and get some grips on this damn thing. All right, so these are the grips I got. Scott's. I think I showed these before. I ended up cutting the ends off just with my thin snips. And then I also cut 4 wires each for each of the gloves or grips. I'm going to put 1 wire here, and right there, 1 there, 1 there, and then I'm going to try and get 1 up front right there. So I'm going to try to do all that. Show you a slick little trick I just figured out. So you take your grip, since I'm putting it on with wire, I'm going to take my grip, and this is the right size one, I hope. Which one's which? So I'm looking for the smaller hole, so this one. Alright, battery died on me. Alright, so small hole. So I'm going to take my alcohol, check this out. I'm gonna shoot some alcohol in the tube. Take it, push it right on. Not that bad. A lot better than glue usually works for me. Okay, get her there. Make sure the Scott shows up front. That way it looks all pretty. Okay, about like that. So our hand grip on, or hand guard, not grip. Hand guard's on. Oh, that's what those bolts go to. And the reason I want to do this is so I can make sure that the grip is out to the edge. Is all I want to do. So I'll jiggle that while I put that on. wrong size. There we go. Just kind of pull the grip up to the end, center our Scott, and I screwed that up because I wanted my donut. Okay, there's that. And then I will come over here. We'll do the throttle side. Again, coat the inside with some alcohol. Put Scott forward towards me. And then come on. And we're gonna get it all the way buttoned against the edge. Scott's nice and pretty. Looks like this is too long though. A little too long of a grip. Come in here, go down to the rubber. Cut like that. You want to make sure to do this so that you don't have any rubbing on the bark busters, which could cause your throttle to stick, which could be dangerous. too bad. Can't forget our donut. Then what I'm gonna do is do some safety wires on these. So what I do for my safety wires is I get wire that's long enough to go around and stick out the bottom about, I don't know, an inch or so. Let's see. So kind of, should be able to see that. So I'm going for that. And then what I want to do is come right here, bring it together like that. All right. Come up here with my grips. I want to try and get it to grip right where it crosses. So right there. Pull down, pull, done. There's one. I'm gonna use this right here as my bend. I'm gonna put this all the way up in the crease up next to the front. And then grip it where it meets. Shit, broke it. Too much gusto. Too much gusto. What happened there was I just spun it too many times and it actually caused it to break instead of tighten. Two. There. Means I'm gonna need another thing. So now what you do, you cut about a little less than 1/4 inch from the pigtail. So you can kind of see that length. That's about the length you want. And once you have that length, what you do is you take the bull nose and push this hard as you can into the rubber. Fold it hard as you can in the rubber so that you don't accidentally hit that when you're gripping. So now I'll take my little donut, push it up against the wall, and then I'll do 2 more wires right here, and then 1 more over here. I'll use one for my cut for the other side to go right here. So go like that. You don't want to go too much, you just kind of want to go up to the top. And I actually prefer, I used to think the wire method was ridiculous, that glue was all you needed. Then I used wires for the first time and didn't have a single slip, and it's way better than glue ever could dream of being. No, absolutely zero slipping of the grips. You don't have to have the mess to clean up if you switch grips. As you can see, you could put it on with freaking alcohol. You don't have to worry about it getting stuck on the way on and having to use your air hose and blow super glue all over the freaking place. It's just way better. Okay, come on. There we go. Having trouble getting it hooked. Okay. Now we cut it about, yay, a little bit more actually. And then take that, push it in. You want to push it as hard as you can into that grip so you don't have any catch points. There you go. That grip is not going to go anywhere. So I'll put the bark buster on and zip up the other side. There we go. That is a nice bark busters back on. Do this side now. The grips. You can kind of see on most grips, they kind of have the exact path of where you want to put your wires if you actually look for it. I dropped a wire somewhere. I don't know where it went. All right. And these are just tusk ones, as you could probably see from that wire. Just a tusk kit. You can buy them from a bunch of different places. I don't think any of the places are any better than any other ones. I like Tusk because it's really good. It's a good product for the money. If you're watching Rocky Mountain, I am more than willing to be sponsored. I would love some support from you guys because I spend more money with you guys than anywhere in the world. Alright, so then we just push up there, there, and there. There we go. Wham bam. Pretty dang good. That might have to get glued after all. I don't know. Feels like it might spin a little. Hopefully when the alcohol dries out completely, that will be locked in solid. If not, may have to do something clever, because yeah, I could twist that if I tried. Not sure if it'll be that way forever. I may have to tighten that up. Hopefully it just dissipates out and goes away. All right, so we got basically everything we wanted to accomplish done today. Dogs, guys, checking everything out per usual. So thanks for watching.